Hey everyone, and welcome to our final presentation here for our virtual conference from the League of Railway Women. Now, before we start, I just want everybody to know it's Happy Friday. Let's take one deep breath together. Let's channel our inner Catherine Farmer, CEO of BNSF. Let it out. Here we go. We're going to rock this last conference session that we have here today, and we're going to have a great weekend. So as we get started, as you have seen, we will go over a few items here. First, this session is leveraging social networks for rail careers. So that is our session for today. If you're on the wrong one, just stay anyway. So now you're going to learn a lot and hear from our great panelists. So you'll enjoy this one. A little bit of housekeeping issues before we get started. So you are probably hearing me from your computer audio, but if for some reason your computer acts up, there is another way to join us. If you see in your right-hand side, you'll have your toolbox from GoToWebinar. And within that, there is a section that says audio. If you expand that and just click on the telephone option, you can just dial right in. Just if you do that, remember to mute your computer so we don't hear any feedback. You are actually all muted, so we can't hear you anyway, but we'd love to hear from you. And so with that, there's two ways to communicate with us. We would love to answer your questions today at the end of our session. And so if you have any questions for our panelists, please use the questions box again on your right-hand side. And if you want to just make a comment or talk to the whole group, you can also talk in the chat option as well. Of course, as with every conference, we want you to be as considerate and respectful as always. If you see anything that really needs to be addressed, please let us know, and we'll do every effort to ensure that that action ceases to exist. Now, today, I am so grateful and honored to be a part of this great session. With me today, we have two speakers. We have Erica Sander from Trinity Rail, and we have Miss Stacy Mansfield from Norfolk Southern Corporation. And if they will join me here live on our webcam, we'll be able to see them and go through our presentation. Hey, Stacy. Hey, Erica.
Hello.
Great to have you. If you'd like to learn more about the bios of Stacy and Erica, please visit our website and you can check out more about their very in-depth and very cool background that they have in our industry. All right, so we're going to get started with a few topics here, and the first one we're going to start off with is LinkedIn. Erica, the floor is yours.
Oh, that little unmute thing will get you every time. Thank you, Michelle. We're going to go ahead and finish out the week on a light note with some good reminders, tips, and best practices for social media and your career. Oh, I got this. So some of the topics today we're going to cover are, first I'm going to do a little reflecting, and then look at some of the numbers, talk about your personal brand and tips for LinkedIn, and also some best practices. I think I have a delay over here, so bear with me. So first, when this topic came up, I did a little bit of reflecting on my own experiences. Not only did I obtain my current job here at Trinity via a LinkedIn job post, kudos to our Trinity HR team, but also previous jobs when I had a colleague or a former boss reach out to me via LinkedIn. Social media can bring awareness to such a broad audience. We're all aware of big companies and brands, consumer-based companies on, anything from FedEx to Coca-Cola to Amazon, pretty much household names. But when you're a business-to-business or less prevalent company, people might not be aware of some opportunities that you have. So although collectively, all of us in the rail industry know that rail is the foundation of the movement of goods throughout North America, and we're very proud of this industry and we are the backbone, others not involved in this industry may be less aware, and especially women when it comes to manufacturing or industrial occupations. So awareness. LinkedIn can help leverage or facilitate career change by aligning your own strengths or core competencies to new job opportunities that you may have never thought of previously existed. An industry you may not have been familiar with or aware of, but social media again exposed you to that opportunity. Therefore, connecting and networking similar industries and skills, even networking with people in different colleges, brings that to the forefront and helps expose you to those opportunities and helps match skill sets. And one thing I always like to say is we don't learn from experience, we learn from reflecting on experience. So let's look at some of the numbers. Michelle, will you grab that? Thank you. So to give you an idea of the broad reach and connection opportunities, here are some stats from LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the largest professional network. Keyword professional. Keep that in the forefront of your mind when you're using LinkedIn. It is the most important word that you need to keep chanting over and over. Professional. Anything that you do on there, professional. This is not a personal chat room or a dating site. You can take that elsewhere. There's many platforms for that. There are more than 706 million users. So now that's a good thing because you can reach so many people, but it's also a not so good thing. You can reach many people, but you might also get buried in the mix by not maximizing the utilization properly. Jobs are posted in more than 200 countries and territories worldwide. So if you want to relocate, the world is your oyster. Get online, see what opportunities are in different countries or different areas. Let your journey begin. So clearly the stats speak for themselves here. In the current virtual work from home, no face-to-face meetings, no personal meeting environment that we're living in due to COVID-19, LinkedIn has proven to be an effective tool now more than ever. If you've not already, you can expect your next interview or introduction to colleagues or associates to begin virtually. Because let's be honest, the most common phrases for 2020 are, "We can't hear you, you're on mute, sorry, I'm sorry, please go ahead." Or combine that with your stiff arming of children or animals from making an impromptu appearance on your webcam. Those have been fun. Next, a little bit more about your personal brand. There you go. So after looking at those numbers, you know why you should utilize the site and how big that reach is. So what about your personal brand and what you're putting out there? I'm sure many of you have heard this term before. And again, it's just a reminder of how important it is now more than ever. It's comprised of your image, your mission, your values, your visions, your skills. The goal is to be visible, consistent. Consistency builds trust. Be valuable. Being valuable earns loyalty or champions. Tell people who you are. This is your online resume, your personal brand or success portfolio. Make sure to add a professional picture, of course. So now you are the face of your organization. When you have that you work for a company, you are that face now associated with that company. So ask yourself if you're putting that right reflection out there, and is it aligned with your company while maintaining your own individual self and your own personal brand? And if the answer is no, then it's time to get on there and make some updates. Highlight personal and company and charitable initiatives. Demonstrate leadership. This one is important because while it's your own personal brand, make sure you don't just use I to highlight yourself. Equally highlight we and us to reflect that you're a team player and that you share credit where credit's due and success with others. So it's not all about the me on this. It's also about the we and what we have done and how we have done things together as a team. And that helps to show your leadership and that you're a team player as well. Establish credibility in what you've done, give sincere recommendations, accolades. This establishes also that you care about others and you celebrate others' success as well, and that you're a credible resource to also give that praise or an endorsement for others. Or even it shows that you can possibly be a good mentor or resource for somebody. couple of tips. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Build and maintain your professional connections. Seek out networking associations and conferences. There's so many opportunities online, and it's a great way to stay plugged in. If you have a colleague, say, that you worked with years ago, they may have changed jobs and you only had their work email address. Well, how are you going to get in contact with them? Maybe you know of an opportunity that they would be the perfect fit for, and you want to get in touch with them. This is a great way to find them again and reconnect, because chances are they might not be at that work email address anymore. Seek out companies, industries, and thought leaders of interest that align with your personal brand, your career ambitions, and as well as your company's initiatives. Groups and communities on LinkedIn will also help expand your knowledge base. And it's very important to utilize this tool to pulse the industry. What is going on? Be in the know, because that is the most valuable tool, is to know what your peers are doing or what people in your field are talking about that you may not be aware of. And it's a good way to get some really good insight into the market or into your field of what you're doing. It's a great way to share knowledge and to influence others and engage your professional audience. So review your profile often, make sure it's relevant, and make sure it's up to date. And last, we have some best practices. So if you're going to have a profile, fill it out completely. Don't do it halfway. That may come across as a little lazy or a little bit of lack of attention to detail. So if you're going to do it right and make sure you have a full profile. And I don't mean data dump every detail of your career, but be thorough. And if you have only one job listed between when you graduated and where you're working now, that leaves so many holes and so many questions. What have you been doing? So try to close all those holes if you can, if possible, and make sure that you don't leave any. But also highlight some projects or initiatives without going too deep, to where you're piquing somebody's interest, that they want to talk to you and learn more and be a part of that. So basically keep it at a higher level, but don't data dump or get too wordy. So find that happy balance, and even have somebody review your profile if you have any questions. It might be helpful. Also, be searchable. When recruiters and companies are looking for professionals on this platform, they utilize keyword searches. So they will search CEO or data analyst, and whatever that looks like. So make sure that you're using industry related terms or keywords or phrases in your profile, so that way when they put it in the system to search, your name is one that pops up, because with 706 million people using the system, you need to be searchable. So make sure you're doing that. Also engage, repost, like, share, comment. Make sure you're commenting, liking, and sharing, but make sure those items are factual, that they may or may not be controversial or cause a conflict of interest, and especially with your company. You don't want to lose credibility by posting or reposting data or articles that are not factual and that are inaccurate. Treat as if your CEO was reading it. I use this statement in everything that I do, from my work email to anything that I post online or that I put out there. Ask yourself how you would feel if your boss or CEO was sitting there reading it or saw your online activities. And that not only includes what your profile looks like, but how you're interacting with other people as well. So assess and audit your social media. Make sure that you're covering all these bases. Present ideas, questions to other people, maybe challenge them, get in a good conversation. Publish and promote successes not only of yourself, but of others. And then offer to be a resource or an expert in your field. If you see people with questions or posting questions online or seeking information, be that person and help and make yourself credible and somebody that they can go to for questions. So, basically to recap, we covered the numbers, the why, your personal brand, some best practices, tips, and reminders. So I hope some of these tools can be helpful. There's so many ways that you can utilize the platform. with regards to your career, your brand, and even just if you're staying in your current job, just being in the know. So as a friendly reminder too, I'm sure as we all know, everything lives on the internet forever. You can try to delete it, but let's just go with it lives on the internet forever. So before I hand this back to Michelle, I'm just going to close it with information is power, but only when you share it. Thank you, Michelle.
Absolutely. That was a lot of great information. And so at this point, we're going to switch over into the LinkedIn business side. And so if you are the owner of your business page or you're thinking about creating a business page, first of all, do it. Second of all, there are great reasons why. First of all, it's a great way to engage your professional audience. So, you know, you're going to be on the same stage with maybe some other players. You know, it's another stage for you to promote your business. So why wouldn't you do it? Now there's, you know, paid campaigns and things that you can do too, but it's free. So this is free advertisement for you, especially if you know how to use it in the right way and connect with the right communities. You know, it's a great tool for you and a great asset. Remember though, too, if you were going to be in charge of this page, that the tone and the language needs to be a little bit different. Mirroring what Erica was mentioning, that keep it professional. It's got to be stricter. It's got to be a little bit more conservative. Now, I've seen some trends lately where whether it's an individual or a business page that, and it's really coming more from the individual side, that people are kind of de-dressing that usual professional look. You know, somebody in a suit or somebody just, you know, having a nice watch on and looking over in the corner, very, very polished. And just remember, if you are going to take a more casual route with your LinkedIn, first of all, it's up to you how you do this. We're just trying to offer some suggestions that can help you potentially with some other companies in the future. But again, if you go this more casual route, that's fine. Just understand that every company that may, you know, want to hire you may not be interested into that, right? So if you're trying to go to a granola startup up in California, you wearing your overalls in the farm might be a great profile picture for you. Or if you're going to, you know, post something a little bit more casual, just be mindful of your audience. And again, you know, not every employer is going to want to engage the way that you're presenting yourself. So just be cautious of that. And again, safe route is just stay professional. So another way when you do have your business page, some really good tips is, you know, share articles, share other association news. If there's people that you can tag into your posts, if there's stats that you have. Now that's a very popular one. You have an image of some sort and then you have a stat next to it. I know Norfolk Southern is really good at this, so I'm sure Stacey will talk about this in a second. Make sure that you research your hashtag communities before you post them. So a little bit of it can get a little busy when you have 85 hashtags in there and then you're just like, wait a minute, how is there a hashtag in here about sidewalks and I'm talking about recruiting, right? So just make sure that you are checking out all your hashtags and make sure when you do a deep dive in them that they're the communities that you actually want to be a part of. So the rule of three is a good rule. So if you're going to post something, 3 hashtags is usually a nice professional spot to be at if that's the route you want to go. And again, just there's those pros and cons. So just make sure that you do that deeper dive before you utilize the hashtag to hopefully, again, be a part of that community and grow your audience as well. Now, there are promotions and advertising that you can do with that. We won't go too deep into that, but that is another option. So as Eric was mentioning, you have a huge group of people here. So, I mean, advertising and promoting to a specific targeted area is very easy to do with LinkedIn. So as we move on, I just want to show you some tips. This is from my company here. And again, my name is Michelle Malsey. I'm the founder of Spring, which is succession planning for railroads, investing in the next generation. We're a startup, so there's you know, we're still getting a lot of our wheels in motion. But I'll just show you a little bit of how it looks from behind the scenes. So this is me as an admin coming to my business page on LinkedIn. There's a few things that we're going to talk about today. This is just like your normal dashboard. What we're going to really focus on is just this quick little analytics tab here. So I looked at the last 30 days, and you can change that. You can go back and look farther back, quarters, year. And this is just a quick review here of, who's coming to my site. Well, I had 23 unique visitors. So to me, as the founder of my company, I'm thinking, oh, geez, well, that's great. That's 23 potential leads. So I'm going to make sure I'm keeping an eye on this. And, if that keeps going up and down, or maybe it's going down, that's going to be a concern of mine. And then I'm going to start to either get more active on LinkedIn or find another way to engage my audience or bring more people to my site. Unique visitors, again, is a great lead that new people are hearing about you, you're getting across, and they're looking at your page. New followers also very important. Those are people that are actually physically liking and following your page, so that every time that you post something, it's going to come up on their dashboard when they log in. Again, a lot of companies are posting things, so it just depends on when they log in. It's a lot about timing. Okay, so that's just a quick look at analytics. Now we're going to talk a little bit about this other little resource over here. It's the admin tools. Excuse me. This is the way it breaks out, if you can see there on the screen, is there's a whole bunch of options for you to have here, right? And oops, sorry, there we are. All right, everybody can see that, right? Okay, good. Sorry, got out of my screen, got too excited. Did I do it again? Yeah, here it is. All right. So in the admin tools, there's a whole bunch of things we can do. We can invite our connections. And if you're on the free side, that's a limited amount of people that you can invite here. If you have the premium version of LinkedIn, you can invite as many as you'd like, or there's a different cap to it. You can post jobs here, which again is great. You can create events. Events are another excellent way to promote yourself and get others to share that. And more importantly, there are other ways that we can look at the data from just this admin tool. So there's a lot that we can do with this. So going a little bit deeper into that dive, that dashboard that we have on top, the analytics, what we are going to do is we're looking at this, and this is the traffic from both my desktop and the mobile. So people that are using the app.
Sorry,
Yes.
I just wanted to jump in. On the screen is still the, I think it jumped back off.
Oh boy. Sorry about that. Thanks. Let me fix that real quick so you guys know what I'm talking about. Sorry about that. So don't worry, you didn't miss much. Just talking about this wonderful little side resource that we have here. So this right here, again, this is just the back end, just a quick overview of those that are looking at your site from the desktop, and then those that are also looking at the app. And so I just did a quick overview. I think of this was last quarter. Looking again, there's different metrics that you can look at, but this was unique visitors. That's what was most important to me. Thinking in my head that could be a potential client. So I'm looking at the dates that they came on and what they were looking at. So I had a really good day. It looks like on October 7th to the 9th. I had just about 6 people on at one point. So that to me, I got to go back and look and see, hey, did I post something that day? Was it successful? And maybe I posted something here on October 13th, and maybe nobody saw it. And I have to go back and think to myself and do a little bit of reflecting that Erica was saying and say, well, why didn't that go off? Did this one have a picture? Did this one not? So this is a great way for you to kind of see what your audience is interested in, what time of the day they're on, and what posts are really getting out there, what are they engaged by. So again, this is going to be just another quick look at page views, and this is from the one day that I had here. This is just for page views, and so I had about 8 people on October 7th, and it's just going to tell me a little bit more of that just on the desktop and mobile. So there are different values that we can switch in here and kind of just get a nice little overlay of what's happening and how popular is our site, and we can learn a little bit more about our audience. Okay, when we go down a little bit farther in that analytics tab, we're going to see that, again, we can change the time range, and then we can also look for different things. So here, this is who is looking at my site. So if I look at the left, there's people in business development. About 48% of the people that saw my site through this time was from business development. That's important for me to know. Especially if I have something more geared towards sales, it's a nice little double check to say, that hit the mark. I hit the audience I was looking for. Business development, again, growth opportunities. That's a great way to understand who is looking at my site. So we can change that little highlighted spot. And now if I'm curious to say, well, hey, I'm going to do an ad soon. I'm going to do a promotion soon. Where should I target that audience. And so if I look at the back end, I can see that the visitors from that time frame that I have selected, most of them are from New York City. And that's kind of surprising to me. I guess I'm in Scranton, so I'm kind of equidistant between Philly and New York. But just think that, maybe I need to start promoting even more to that New York area. If that's where my audience is coming from, I can do a targeted ad to the greater New York City area. So that's key information for me to know. Again, it's the back end of this, and you can really do some great targeted marketing just based on this information that you have. Again, it's just a quick overview, and I'm going to swap back over here to Erica so that she can tell us a little bit more about Facebook.
Okay, so I gave you some stats on LinkedIn, and I'm kind of a stat person. So, currently there are 2.7 billion Facebook users. So compare that to the 706 million LinkedIn users. So that's a difference of 1.994 billion more users on Facebook. So obviously a lot more visibility on Facebook. So whether you use it mostly for personal communications or business, you need to understand and be conscious of what you're actually using Facebook for. But either way, whatever purpose you're using Facebook for, be conscious of the image that you are portraying and understand your reason for using it. And make sure that you're posting in alignment with those reasons. Because your network is a lot larger than you think. You will find that your friends of friends network can be very vast, and your posts may get shared, people may screenshot it, and people may use it for reasons that you did not initially intend that post or what have it, picture or whatever it is to be used for. So make sure you're posting with pride and not regret. As I said before, everything lives on the internet forever. And when recruiters are hiring, they are going to look and see what your social media footprint is and where you pop up and your pictures. And you want to make sure that there's, you're staying in line with what you want your personal brand to be. It's all visible, and people are checking. So memories are a good way to do this. The Facebook memories that pop up every year. I like that because I get to see my kids when they were just little itty bitty babies and remember now that they're bigger babies. So that's always fun for me, but it is also a mindful check of what I've been posting and things I've been doing. And it's a good way to kind of check yourself, check the checker. And then again, the hashtag communities, be careful what you're doing. So if you're using a hashtag at Railway Women or at hashtag Freight Rail, hashtag Railway Women, you're now putting yourself in a searchable group. So you're basically lumping yourself in together. So whatever that post may be. And I love what Michelle had mentioned about the rule of 3 with the hashtags. So you don't want to hashtag so many hashtags that they get lost. But again, you want to give yourself enough so you're getting the bounce that you're looking for. So just again, be mindful, cautious, careful, conscientious through connecting and through posting.
And I want to tag onto that as well, and I'm sure Stacey's going to have something to add to this as well. But even from the recruiting standpoint, this is a way for you to kind of do like a sly background check. So just be careful, again, of your privacy settings, one. But the other side of that too is, like Erica said, nothing ever leaves the internet. So do those checks, clean that up. If you are going to be using Facebook and you're going to be employed soon, best practice would be to ensure that you're not putting anything out there that's a little bit damaging to your character, let's say, and not a good way to start. Stacey, do you have any words of wisdom here for individuals using Facebook in this now much more virtual world when, jobs are on Facebook now, jobs are on LinkedIn? Is there any advice that you can give our group here?
Absolutely, and thank you. A lot of times I try to tell folks, even new employees at the company that want to talk about social computing guidelines and what they mean and what they need to pay attention to. And I often refer back to, it's kind of like wearing the Miss America sash. If you are saying this is my name and I work for a certain company on Facebook, it's kind of like saying your last name. Would you put your last name on Facebook and then do something of poor character if you knew your mom and dad were watching. It happens. So it definitely reflects your character. It reflects on the company. I get complaints every week from folks who sent from the general public that I have no idea who they are, that they want to ask us, is this the kind of person you want working for Norfolk Southern? And unfortunately, most of the time they're not, with the conduct. But I think Erica has definitely given some very sound advice on how to keep yourself safe with her presentation and things to watch out for. And if you are applying for a job, some of the things I've seen people do also is, besides the privacy settings, sometimes people actually use their first name and their middle name so that they're not so searchable. So that's probably a trick we don't want to teach people, but just maybe not. But it is a reflection of you. And like you're saying, Michelle, and I think Erica said as well, it does not go away. And we see it now even in political, campaigns and everything else, where things from decades before can come back to haunt you. So don't just think about your character today, think about your future and use it wisely when you post.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And just to kind of touch on that political climate now as well, not to go into too many details, you have as many opinions as you want, that's great. The only thing is, if you're going for a job that's maybe a mediator and it's all over your Facebook one way or another, if someone is going to look at your profile and see all that stuff, it might change their opinion whether you can be, in the middle, or whatever the case may be. So again, and then, none of us are saying you have to do anything, and, however you want to use your Facebook, use it. We're just trying to help as far as the employer perspective to say, keep it as neat, as conservative. If you are going to use Facebook to find new careers and or link it with those communities. So with that being said, we're just going to quickly go into the business side as well. So again, another great way to engage your audience. This is going to be a completely different tone, different language. Facebook is really good for seeing videos and having events and maybe staging some more things that are a little bit more social than what LinkedIn would be. I know I did live presentations in my page, and those were one of the most viewed things that I had. So people like that interaction. Just keep that in mind. But also keep in mind that people's attention span isn't really that long. So. And I can see all of you over here in the corner that aren't paying attention, so don't make me call you out, but I know you're not looking at the screen because I can see your attentiveness. So just know that there are tools out there to check out who's watching in and who's peeking in. All right, so let's talk about the business page for a second. My side here, so when I get into my dashboard, when I log on to Facebook, I'm gonna look right over here to my company's page. And when I get in, there's a little recap right out of the gate, and it tells me a little bit about the insights. So that's a great tool. I'm seeing that, I've reached 96 more people. That's excellent. Post engagement is probably the most thing I'm concerned with, because if I post a link to a job, if I'm trying to promote a veteran program that we're promoting, that means somebody's actually going in, clicking, and going to a different site. There's different definitions for these two, so if you need the full definition of how Facebook organizes people reach versus post engagements, we can make that available, but it's also on the back end, so you can find that out. All right, so I'm just going to move over these things quickly. Again, taking a deeper dive, you can change this page summary. You can do a whole quarter, you can do a year, whatever you want to do. The most important tool that you have as the owner of your business page is this export data. And so you can take basically everything. So page views, post reach, likes, post engagement, link engagements. There's a whole bunch of tools in here that you can get that raw data for. And it might take you a couple of minutes to kind of figure out, what's what. But if you hover over the eyes here, you'll be able to get a little definition of what their definition is for each of those items. So here's what it looks like when you export it. So I'm going to do a date range here. This is last quarter, or this coming quarter. And what I'm going to do is just export that data, and I'm just going to look at the post data. So I just want to know, from all the things I posted, how many people did I reach? What were the impressions? Did anybody like it? Did they love it? Did they celebrate it? Or did I have any feedback? So when I do that, it's going to look like an Excel when that comes back. So you can do a deeper dive inside of the page itself, and that's what this is. And this is a really cool tool because you can actually identify when your audience, so the people that like your page, are online. So if I know that my audience is going to be on, let's see, the most popular time during this time frame, I had over 85 of people of my audience were on around 6 p.m. What time do you think I'm going to post something on Facebook? Probably around 5:59, right? If I'm going to capture that when they're on, I'm going to be on. So again, it's a great way for you as your business owner, as a business owner, or if you are the one in charge of your Facebook or your LinkedIn page. This is such a cool, easy to look at tool that you can go into your other meetings and say, man, I had all this cool data and it showed exactly everything about my audience, and we can really use that to get more promotions out there and build our audience, build our community, and get our message out there as well. So with that, I'm going to bring it over to Stacy, and we are going to hear a little bit from our friends at the Thoroughbreds. Stacy, the floor is yours.
Thank you. If you'll just leave it on that slide, just leave it on the Thoroughbred slide for just 1 second, because I wanted to go back just to a couple of thoughts of what both of you ladies had already been talking about. First off, again, if you weren't listening to Erica, I would suggest hopefully you will look at the link after this, because she really gave some great tips on how to protect yourself and your company, and the same to Michelle about how to protect your business. I wanted to go back to the LinkedIn and your personal brand and your bio on LinkedIn. And one of the things that we're working on right now that's very important to us is that employees are a reflection of your organization, but very much so your C-suite are employees. And so you need to make sure that your C-suite, your CEO, your COO, all of those folks have an updated LinkedIn profile. One of the things that's going on right now that we definitely see a trend in is that, and it's not just with millennials, but it is a big case there, is folks that are coming out of college, they're not just looking up your company. They want to know who runs your company. They want to know how that person thinks and what that person's volunteer activities, may be. And they want to know that you're a well-oiled machine, and that your folks that are running that company really believe in career development. And I think all those things are important. So I just wanted to make, that was one thing I wanted to point out. And then the other one was, personal LinkedIn. And, it's a little different because you get LinkedIn requests all the time from people wanting to connect. And a lot of times you just don't know who the heck they are. So I don't, when you get that request, make sure you take a look at the person's their bio and get to know them a little bit. I will say for Michelle and I, and Michelle, take this as an absolute compliment. I cannot tell you what year I met you, what city I met you, why I met you, but we connected on LinkedIn and, have collaborated since. And I think that's the benefit of that, because I wouldn't be doing this presentation today. And I thank you for that. So, those connections, make a difference. And I've looked at this week who has come on and looked at my profile, and I won't pick them out, but they're, I've seen a couple of people that were on the list for attendees to this event. And so, know who you're talking to. When you're going to see someone give a presentation, look up their bio. It helps you understand where they're coming from better. And it helps you even assess what kind of questions you want to ask and how you want to deliver that. So those are definite big things. And the last thing I wanted to say is, I do handle, one of the tasks is social media for our company. So, we do Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and LinkedIn. And sometimes if we have an event, we do Snapchat filters, and even though that's not a really big one. But, I just wanted to say, when it comes to like posting, there are a lot of opportunities and a lot of apps out there that allow you to take one post and post across platforms. And they're fantastic time savers. But if you have the time, I would suggest that you really tailor each post to each different platform, because they are different audiences. It's kind of like I may have, I have 4 sons. I may have one message, but I may need to deliver that message 4 different ways, depending on how they hear, the ages and different things like that. And when you have something to highlight, whether it's a press release or something, if you're collaborating with someone, if Michelle's company and my company are collaborating on something and we're both going to talk about it, it's better for me to let her talk about it and then me share her link and vice versa. And that way it's a little less self-serving too. So it gives her a little, lift up in connecting with people as well as for me. So I try to go with the self-serving way of that. And we definitely do push, being that, showing people that we're a good corporate neighbor. We're doing a lot of brand studies right now that are telling us that people, they want to see sustainable companies. They want to know that you're a good corporate neighbor and what you're doing for the community. So anytime that we can talk about our volunteers at food banks or breast cancer walks or a pride parade, we're putting that online, and it's a moral booster to our folks too, to show that we're proud of them. So I just wanted to, before I forgot and went through all my stuff and didn't say it. So thank y'all both for the first part of this presentation, because I think it was very helpful even to me as someone who I feel like I do this every day, but I learn something new every time. So thank y'all. And you're flipping my slides, right?
You got it.
Thank you so much. So I wanted to quickly go through a communications platform that we have at Norfolk Southern called Forge. That's the name of our platform. It is based off of the Social Course platform. That's who hosts it. It is an internal piece, but I'll tell you why it matters maybe externally to you in a minute. So this is a dashboard that we have that just kind of keeps track for us and all of our executives of what's going on. So if you're looking across in the top left-hand corner, you should see the number of registered users. So right now, out of 20,000 employees, we have almost 6,500 registered users. We just started using the app or the mobile communications platform June 16th. So I do take great pride that those, I think, are great numbers. We've been working with some of our friends over at CP, and some people might find that funny. They're competitors, but we both use the same platform and we both have a lot to learn from each other. So we've been having those conversations to see what we can learn from each other. You'll see that there's almost an even split between craft and non-agreement folks as far as how many users are on there. The next part, you can just kind of see how they've grown over the months. Down at the bottom part of that first box, you'll see the active users. So if we have 65 registered users, 2,616 are active users. So over 6,000 have signed up. 2,600 basically are on there every week looking at content. You'll see the numbers drop considerably for the craft employees on that one. I would say that there's no secret here that railroaders love free trinkets, and we had a t-shirt contest if you signed up for the Forge, and you can see the craft employees did not let us down. So we are definitely after that crowd. If forever who's on here listening to us, if you're with a railroad or with a group that has union, it's hard to reach those folks because they don't sit in front of computers sometimes all day long like we do. So we're definitely trying to be more transparent in our communications. We definitely want to make sure that what info the one group has, every other group has. And we really expedited this launch when COVID came around, because it was a need to, how do we get to people? Our T&E crews aren't even going in crew washrooms right now. So, the NSTV and things that we had in there before where we could use to communicate, we're out, now that's gone. So keeping going across, it just shows you a little bit of the content area, how many posts that we're doing. So Forge would be kind of the company and how many posts they're doing a week. And user generated is just employees coming on and participating. So we're really trying to, encourage that. You've got the average time down there. So that's just showing you how long people spend on the app, on the platform every day. The interesting thing is we really do, as Erica and again, Michelle were mentioning, analytics and that data that's behind all these back end pieces. You have to pay attention to them because they tell you how to do it better, how to do it right. And just quickly going across the bottom, because we'll go into it a little further, it tells us our top 5 posts, and you can see there's a random subjects. We had the U.S. Secretary of Energy visit last week. So putting articles out about that. We have a series called OR and Me. And one of the reasons I wanted to point that out is because it is again, the need and the want to be transparent and bring our employees along for everything we do. We found that when we listened to the earnings calls, we had, just random topics, random definitions or words that you don't know what they mean every day. Earnings per share, operating ratio, you hear them all the time, but what do they really mean? So we've done a big push to educate around those things. And the OR and Me is asking folks, as we push to a certain operating ratio, what do you do in the company that helps drive that operating ratio down? If you asked me a couple of years ago when they said, hey, we need to get to a certain number operating ratio, I'd be like, tell those T&E people out in the yard to get on it, because it didn't click in my head that, hey, what you do, how you use your resources, all these things work together. So it's been a really popular piece, and hopefully when they listen to the earnings call, they will be able to understand better how their job does that. So let me keep going, that way I don't keep you on the time, Michelle. If you'll click to the next slide, please. This is just showing you a little bit of what the desktop platform looks like and some of the articles. It enables us to post pictures, videos, whether they're videos off of YouTube or embedded code videos, and tell, you know, all the stories from the OR to the photo contest that we're having. Anything we want to talk about, anything that employee wants to talk about, because we do have a channel that's completely open for them. So we've had a lot of fun with this so far, and it's really nice to see. You know, I've never been on the very start of a project like this to actually see it grow like this. I've always come in midway, so it's been exciting to see. Go ahead, Michelle, if you would, please. And this is just some further engaging posts that we had. We've got, you know, a VP of engineering or AVP of engineering sharing news articles. We have folks seeing what they see on LinkedIn and bringing it over to our app. So if you're doing something cool on LinkedIn, share it with people. So that's the big thing. Talking about awards we're winning, talking about and giving simply kudos. The mechanical team sets a record. You know, this is all about telling people and making people understand that when we say the word shareholders, that's not just investors, that's employees too. And that's vital for our employees to hear that. And so a lot of this I know is focusing on internal, but the reason that this is so important to us and something I've been pushing for so long is that we have 20,000 employees, and those could be 20,000 ambassadors to that external world, 20,000 positive ambassadors if we do it right. And if you do it like Erica said, where your profile pages are looking respectable, but what we're doing right now is you can share these stories. Obviously, we can lock some of them down if we want them to be employees only, but you can share them to your social networks. We are working through a technical issue right now, but you know, where you say where there's a will, there's a way. We like to say, you know, where there's a sneaky tech person, we have a solution. So we would be able to share these out to Facebook and LinkedIn and different things like that, so that we can have our employees talk about how proud they are of Norfolk Southern. And so you know, it's been very valuable, even to see the comments that come on these posts, the engagement that come with it. So we really are looking forward to growing this. We obviously want to have 20,000 employees. I'm not sure that we'll ever get there, but you know, with kind of the mobile crew reporting piece, that technology that we have coming in, you know, we'll be putting 8,000 phones in T&E crew hands. So that's another opportunity. This is a mobile app as well that is not behind our firewall, so you can, you know, access it anywhere, anytime. So that's really what this is all about, letting the employee know that we want them to know what's going on, and we want to educate them, and we want them to have the same information everyone else does, and it's at their convenience. So that would be it, madam.
Excellent. That was awesome to hear all of what you're doing for that effort internally. So we have run out of time here, but we do have just 2 quick questions before we do come to a conclusion here. So just quickly, Stacy, we got one for you. What social media scheduling and monitoring platform does Norfolk Southern use?
This is one where I hate to answer because it seems like I'm saying there's an I in team, but there's an I in team. We actually, it's old school leather shoe where it's me. So I don't use, if I'm scheduling something, normally I might schedule it on Facebook, but otherwise I'm doing it in real time. So if you see me answer somebody or post something on Twitter at midnight, it's me posting. And I, you know, pull the data analytics for that and supply them to our VP. And I do believe we're working on trying to get some relief so that I won't have to do that forever. But so far, so good. I know there are a lot out there, so I apologize that I don't have a suggestion of what's the best one, but you know, I don't, sorry.
All right, we have one more question, and then I'll close it up here. How often do you update your profile picture on LinkedIn, and do you think it's necessary to have a professionally taken photo?
I'll let Erica hit that one first if she'd like.
How often do I update it? You pretty much update it when you have something to add to your profile. So, I mean, again, I mentioned you want to check in every now and again and go back and make sure that your information is relevant or up to date. But, if you have something, or if you change positions, or you have a new milestone that you want to add to your LinkedIn, I mean, typically that's when I would update my my LinkedIn personally, and I would suggest doing so as well. And with regards to the picture, professional headshots are great, and I highly suggest it. But if you don't have the ability to do that, I mean, these phones these days can take some really impressive pictures. So put on what your attire is, what you want your brand to look like, and have somebody snap a good picture of you that you can use for a headshot. Because I mean, it's this little round circle that you need to fill, and I'm pretty confident that with a lot of these phones these days, you could get a pretty good shot.
Absolutely. And I would also just mirror that too and just say that I wouldn't, on LinkedIn, I wouldn't change it as frequently probably as you do on Facebook, just because, that is a notice that will go into somebody's dashboard. And if you keep doing that, that can get very annoying to employers.
And they'll
But
wonder
also,
why. What's she trying to hide?
And again, depending on who and what kind of employer you're trying to attract, it might be there's a different look, like Erica was saying, but you might want to tailor what you're trying to go for. You might have a picture of an old steam locomotive if you're trying to work at, a National Historic Site. So there's different little cues and things like that just pay attention to who you are trying to tailor your image for at that particular time in your life. But it is good to refresh it when, like Erica said, when there's an event that has happened. That's a good way to go in. All right, well, at this time, ladies, it was such a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us. I know our audience had such a great time, and we learned a lot from both of you. So thank you for joining us today. I will ask you to salute us out, and we'll see you guys here in just a bit. So thank you for that. And with that, I'm also going to introduce Miss Amanda Patrick, who is our president of the League of Railway Women. And she will have the honor of bringing us to a close and telling you about our upcoming events for these next year. And Amanda, just let me know when you're ready to progress.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And I have the hiccups, which I haven't had in years. So that figures. Before we go, I just wanted to kind of quickly close up and say how much I appreciate all of you for coming to this event. When our in-person event was canceled due to coronavirus and the regulations around coronavirus, we were all really disappointed, and our events team really came together to put this event on. We've never done it before. It was a challenge. We really rose to that occasion, and I am ever grateful to the team for that. I will also say that just as we're talking about social media and our influence, that LinkedIn Learning has been really helpful for me professionally, especially over the past few months when I've really wanted kind of a boost professionally. So if you're able to access LinkedIn Learning, I think it's $30 a month. Some companies order it for their employees. So that is an opportunity for you to learn about something different, something new. They have everything from, marketing tips to executive presence, how to build your brand, how to improve your social media efforts. So I think that that's a really great way also to keep learning. In the context of the conference as a whole, I'll also say that I know, especially for women, making opportunities for networking in particular is difficult. So thank you for taking time to do that. This is a great place to learn and know that you're not the only woman in the industry. There are so many impressive women. I mean, as I look at the lineup for this conference, and I've heard so many people speak that I do not know, I have been floored time and time again, and I'm so grateful to the LRW board, to our events committee for doing that. We will be in Indianapolis next year for Railway Interchange 2021. That is where the LRW conference will be held, so please save that date. It's going to be so nice to see you all in person. And the next slide. Oh, next slide. Good. So Next, on November 10th, we will have our annual membership meeting for LRW members, and we hope that you all will come. We're going to be talking about what LRW has done this year and also what we're looking to do in the future. So we want you to all be a part of that conversation. We want to talk about how to better support women in the industry, how to better get more women in the industry, and how to just show people that the rail industry is an important, interesting industry that we should all be a part of. And I hope that you will join us for that. Coming up next year is going to be a job board that we're going to be putting together. And so we're going to be having companies will be able to promote their jobs through an LRW job board, and our members will be able to access those. So we do have a lot of interest in that, and that is coming up. And that is, you know, in large part due to our corporate partners. So that is our next slide. And these are all the wonderful companies that support LRW. There's also a few at the bottom that have come in the past couple of weeks, like New York Air Brake, Harbor Rail, Michigan State, Mamava, which is a company that assists women with pumping when they have an infant and need to express milk. So I think that's also going to be a conversation. I know we talked a little bit about pumping at our last session at 1, but for a lot of women, it's difficult to have the infrastructure needed. So we do have some interest in hosting a session on that as well. Before I conclude, because I know you're all very busy on a Friday, I want to quickly introduce Patricia Baswell, who's our events chair and has really stepped in and been just so incredible. And the events team has put this together, and Michelle and I'm so grateful. And yeah, I'm going to give you the floor, and thank you all.
Thank you, Amanda. So hello, everyone. I'm Patricia Baswell, Events Chair at the League of Railway Women and User Experience Manager at Wytronics. Having come from telecommunications very recently, I mean, I've only really been part of the rail industry for a little over 2.5 years, but it feels like I've been here forever. And I think it's because the problems that I get to solve and that we all get to solve every day in this industry are very challenging and worthwhile. I'm also able to learn so much from the people I meet here, especially women who are amazing and inspiring. And you know, that includes the ladies at LRW and even our hosts and our speakers and panelists during this conference. So I'm really grateful to be working with a talented group of people, of women at LRW, especially the events committee. They have just pulled this all together. It's been amazing. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, and enjoy your happy Friday and enjoy your weekend. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Take good care.